Well, for all of you movie buffs like me, we have always said, oh, Charlie, but in Ghana, do we have critics? I'm talking about movie critics who can look at the movie and dissect it and publish it. And then I stumbled onto an online site called Movie Freak GH, Movie Freak Ghana, Movie Freak GH. And then I read a few of the articles that they had written in terms of film criticism. And I was like, these people are onto something. So guess what? I have the editor and I have the founder of GH Movie Freak in the house. He's going to talk to us about what he does, why he does it, and a few other things. Put your hands together. Show some love for Mr. Tony Asankomah. There we go. Ah, Tony, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I want to get into this whole thing, you know. It's an interesting angle for me, but we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about GH Movie Freak. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Oluman Boogie will be right back.
We're back. And the full name is ghmoviefreak.com. So if you have access to the internet, is there anybody who doesn't have access these days? If you don't, man, sorry, I don't know where you're from. Anyway, it's ghmoviefreak.com and read interesting views and reviews about movies. Tony, welcome again to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I've read a few of your stuff, you know, and I was very happy, you know, because you don't get that kind of reviews. Well, maybe you do, but they're not common in Ghana.
Yes.
How did you decide that we're going to go into movie reviews or movie critique?
Okay, so first of all, the idea of the site started on our love for films. It's not just me, we're a team of people who love films and who like to talk about films. So that's what originally started the idea of us writing reviews of this sort, especially in this space. Also considering that our industry is still growing and we need some of these elements to sort of spice and encourage people to give out their best in the industry. So basically that's why we decided to do ghmoviefreak.com.
Okay, so it's a group of you, all of you love the movies.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess I'm not talking about just Ghana movies. You love movies, period.
Yeah, we love movies in general. The first review we actually wrote for the website was for a foreign movie. But then, because we are working in a Ghanaian space and we are trying to establish a platform that speaks for Ghana films, we had to consider writing about Ghanaian films. Yeah.
Was it the one you did on the Black Star Film Festival? Something came out.
Yes.
Why wasn't it? There was some before that.
There are several others before that. Okay. The Black Star International Film Festival. We happened to be one of the media partners that worked on the film festival, and we wrote one review for a Ugandan film that showed at the festival. But we've written several other film reviews for the Ghanaian space. Yes. Okay.
I must confess that I haven't seen many that have come out. I think I saw the one you did on John and John, and I must have seen the Black Star one, you know. But this one caught my attention when I saw the headline that is the Silverbird Theatres.
Yes.
Accra, what was the title of the
Accra moment?
Accra More Mentality.
Yes.
It's like killing the film.
Yes. From where we stand, we are trying to, like I said before, we are trying to encourage our film industry to grow to the very topmost level. There's so much potential, but we feel like there are certain factors that are stifling our growth, and one of them is the Accra More mentality, as we tagged it. And it happens that what we tried to put across with that particular article is to sort of get people to understand that filmmaking here in Ghana should go beyond just the Accra More. And it happens to be one of the things that is slowing our industry down. Really?
When you say it's slowing it down, I read your article and I realized you were talking about how a whole lot of energy is put to get that Accra More premiered, and after that it fizzles.
Yes, it's quite saddening because you look at most timelines for some films and the average of it is like for 3 months. That is from the conceptualization of the idea till the premiere date. It's just 3 months. And within that 3 months, the end game for most of these filmmakers is that premiere night at the Accra More. So they work towards just that and they forget about everything else. You understand? They think about what happens on that night only, and after that night, you hear nothing about the film.
So your argument is that is the mentality that's killing film?
Yes, to some extent, it really is killing our films because we always complain about not having a wider audience. We always complain about not having the money to fund the industry the way it should be. But then what's the sense of us making films that are going to only exist in our space when obviously we don't have the market? But then we could tap into other avenues that would encourage our filmmakers to reach out there, get a wider audience, which will bring in more money, and then will help the industry.
In fairness to the filmmakers, where would it be defined as the market? For example, I think John and John, he did Accra Mall, a few spots in Kumasi. I think he even went to Sunyani.
Yes.
I don't know, but I know he did a little bit of tour. Are you suggesting that films perhaps can start with the premiere at Accra Mall and then thereafter go into other markets in Ghana? Yeah,
exactly. That is the way it should be. Unfortunately for us, we don't have cinema halls in all the regions, and so even Kumasi doesn't have a cinema hall.
Yeah.
Although they do, some filmmakers do screenings over there. You see, and because of that deficit for us, it's very necessary that filmmakers take that extra effort to make sure that their films also reach other parts of.
So one would ask, so is this the Accra Mall mentality that is killing them, or is it the fact that there are no other avenues, existing avenues, let me put it that way, out there?
I'll blame it on the mentality, because if you should think outside the mentality, that would encourage you to think of other solutions to that problem that actually exists. If you've made a movie and then your target is to have a premiere at the Accra Mall, definitely that's where you are going to end up at. But if you should make that conscious effort to ensure that your films reach other people outside Accra, you are going to think about it and then, make other screenings across the length and breadth of Ghana, and even take an extra step of going outside the shores of Ghana.
Country.
But unfortunately, our filmmakers are limiting their mindsets to that one night at the Accra Mall where they can dress in their nice outfits, take pictures, grant a couple of interviews on the red carpet, and that's basically where it ends for most of them.
So I'm sure there are filmmakers listening in now. If you were to give them two concrete, doable ideas that they can get into after Accra Mall, what would they be?
I would say the first of it all is to make the stories more appealing. If the stories are very appealing, people from outside Accra who might not exist in that immediate market would also be interested in seeing the films, and then they would be encouraged to take it beyond the boundaries of Accra. And then I would also advise that they be a bit more conscious in terms of the marketing plans for these films. If you are going to have an Accra Mall premiere, you should also have a plan that within the year, you are going to have several other premieres across the country. You are going to make money from all these premieres, and then with that money, you can choose to dub your film into, let's say, French, and then take it to Togo, take it to Ivory Coast, take it to Burkina Faso. From what I understand, they also love our films.
But the language?
The language is the barrier. So why don't you just dub your films into a French, which is going to cost you far less than making another movie, and then take it to these markets. And people would still buy and watch those films. Yeah.
So in effect, the filmmakers are not putting enough effort to go beyond the Accra Mall premiere.
Yes, that is basically the mentality. They are thinking just within that space that let's have a premiere night, let's take pictures, and that's the end. Okay, so even if you should watch the storylines they put into these particular films, they are not thinking of how far those films should go. They are not thinking of who they can win over with those films. They are only thinking about existing in that space.
Yeah, did you see potato?
Yes, unfortunately, I haven't been able to see it. Yes.
Yeah.
I was
because I know it was in Nigeria.
Yes.
I know it was screened at Cannes.
Yes.
And then I know it was at Accra Mall.
Accra Mall.
And it wasn't just a premiere. It ran there for maybe a month or so. So that's the kind of thing you're suggesting.
Yes. Also, I think beyond just the premieres, there should be the need for proper distribution channels. After the premieres, what else? Most of the times, within a space of 1 year, the film just dies out and we don't hear about it anymore. But then there's so much money you could make from that film if there are proper distribution channels, especially for people outside Ghana who would love to see your film. So my little encouragement to filmmakers is they should tap into all those avenues and try their best.
It was there a little bit to an extent, but you know how social media has come to disrupt that flow, you know? Because before you even think of doing it, it's on YouTube or it's on some online thing. Everybody has their own copy. So beyond the big Accra Mall thing, people have had their own ways of getting copies, you know? So that's another thing for people to contend with, you know? Social media.
It's true, it's not a foolproof system. There are loopholes to every system, but then if you are able and bringing them in marketing plans well enough before people even get it out there on social media, you would have been able to get a chunk of profit from it.
I get you. I get you. It makes sense. What's your background, by the way?
My background, I did marketing and then also IT. I'm a Microsoft certified system engineer.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I do full time. And then GH Movie Freak is just the end game.
An aspect of what you do full time. And in terms of how do filmmakers benefit from your thing? Is it just for reviews, or I saw you can do promos too?
Yes. We are developing it into the foremost platform for film promos in Ghana. And one of the avenues we are using actively is through reviews. Although not every filmmaker is happy about us criticizing or reviewing their films.
I was going to ask about that. Sorry to interrupt. How do you deal with that? Hostile people who think that your criticism has been hostile?
It's not. I would admit it's not easy. There are certain places we can't go now, or we are not welcomed like before.
Really?
Yes, because we are sort of seen as enemies of the industry to some extent. But what we do this is for the love of film. That's the reason why we do this, and we want the industry to grow. And criticism is very important for growth. And basically that's why we...
review is a very, very integral part of this culture anyway.
Exactly,
anywhere movie industry is, there's a review. Except I think in Ghana, negative reviews are seen as personal for some reason. You know, you have some director threatening you.
We've had that. Really? A couple of times.
Really? Can you name a director who has?
I for security reasons.
Smart move. Well, sometimes too, the reviewers can get carried away. You know, they review the thing and cut it down just because that's not how they would have done it, rather than sticking to structure and...
to answer that, like, because we are not from a film background, so for most people, they're like, who are these guys who don't know anything about film? But we've been forced to study film, you understand? To be able to speak about film, we've taken the time to learn all the necessary aspects of film making so that we can give very constructive criticisms on people's work. And so we are not in any way biased. We are very fair, but very, very firm, because we want to see our films at that point where we can compete with the rest of the world, where we would have invested coming in and pumping in at least 10 million on a project, $10 million on a project here in Ghana. So we are very firm, but very, very fair.
No, I was ready to see something like that, you know. I guess because I'm not putting any films out there for you to come.
So far we've done reviews for 2 films you are in. There's the John and John, which obviously created a lot of hits for us.
I'm talking about my own.
Oh yeah, okay. We are looking for it.
I think I did one, but you must have been in primary school or less. No, I did a double. Recently, have you seen Double?
No, we haven't seen it. But there was this other one you were in. You played, I've forgotten the title. You played the father to a girl who was an expatriate and got married to...
Oh, yeah. There's some film from the UK.
Yes. I'm struggling to remember.
Something Dairies.
Yes.
If
First Dairies, yes. We have a review on that one too.
Oh, you have?
Yes,
I'd like to see it.
I'll send you the link.
and I'll give you a copy of my old film to go and
Sure.
look at.
I would still love. We also like to write on classics because classics sort of they are supposed to guide the young filmmakers. You understand? It's quite unfortunate our space doesn't allow us to chance on all these classics and then.
Well, mine is not a classic in the sense of like
old.
The good I told you so and things. This was 2000 and something. So, but I'll let you see.
Sure, I'll look for it.
Anyway, it's been great, man. And so, who are your other partners who you work with?
The team is going bigger by the day, but my partner who I'm here with behind the scenes is Luis Opoku.
Okay.
And then there's Kukwa Sechi Ado. Okay. Sechi Adade. Sorry, she's married now, so.
So you have to. Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Think so.
Yes.
Are you looking, or you are?
There's someone I'm looking to tie down.
Okay. So the interview process is on.
Yes.
The appointment letter hasn't come yet.
We are waiting. We are negotiating.
Tony, thanks, man. I just, what you're doing is different, and
thank you.
I like that. As part of the industry goes, we need a whole review culture to go with it. So, well done.
Thank you very much.
And where did you go to school?
I attended IPMT. I attended Cape Coast Polytechnic. I also attended Apam Secondary School. Okay. And then Star of the Sea, Dansoman.
Fantastic. Keep it up, man. Tony. I'm not in the school. Let's stick around, folks. Coming up next, another very, very, very fine gentleman. Who knows? He might even be president. We'll be right back.
Don't move, don't blink, don't breathe. The KSM show will be right back.
The KSM show.